It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 17th of November. I'm Michael Groff. Arizona sits between weather systems today, so as a result, lots of clouds around, temperatures a bit below average. There might be an isolated shower or two across parts of central and northern Arizona through the day today, but for the most part, conditions will remain dry. However, system number 2 is looming off to the west and northwest of us, and will begin to impact the region later tonight and tomorrow with increasing showers, some isolated thunderstorms, higher elevation snow. This is a slower, more potent, and colder system, so as a result, this thing's going to be hanging around for a couple of days, so we'll have chances of rain continuing into Wednesday. Then we'll be between systems once again on Thursday, and then the end of the weekend this weekend is still looking somewhat uncertain as to how things are going to play out. It does appear that a third system will enter the region, but its impacts are still a little bit uncertain, so we'll talk about that, plus so much more as we dive on in and discuss. First, let's check that almanac from yesterday. 76 degrees was the high temperature here in Phoenix. It was a beautiful day. 63 was that morning low. We picked up a trace of rain officially at Sky Harbor International Airport. Some of you had more than that. I saw a report. I think the highest report I saw from around the valley that someone sent me was 1,707 inch. Most spots a tenth or less, and there are many locations around the valley that didn't see anything at all from this first weather system, and such is the nature of these kinds of features sometimes. 76 and 54 are the averages for this time of year, by the way. We're still way ahead on rainfall, and looks like we're going to be adding to that in the next couple of days. Outside now, just after 11 a.m., we've got some high clouds out there, but the sun is still poking through. We're sitting at 66 degrees at Sky Harbor. It's beautiful out there. Dew points at 46, relative humidity 49%. The wind's light, the barometer steady. Satellite picture out here across the west. We put this in motion. There's our next weather system that's descending down the California coast. It's going to be a while before it really starts to have a meaningful impact on us. But yes, some clouds will be moving over the area today. And again, as mentioned, there could be an isolated shower. But for the most part, any precipitation will hold off until later this evening. Watch warning map, pretty quiet across most of the country. Again, some winter weather conditions to the north and west of us. The Sierra, there could be some snowflakes flying there, but across the country, considering this time of the year, yeah, it's pretty quiet out there. Convective outlook, we do have a marginal risk of severe storms, level 1 out of 5 over portions of Missouri. In Arizona, part of the state in the green, we could see some thunder later tonight and tomorrow morning. It'd be relatively isolated, but that risk does exist. Keep in mind, this outlook does run through 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. The tropics and the Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf, it's quiet, probably stays quiet for the next 7 days, and realistically, the rest of this hurricane season looks like we will not see any more development, but that's not a for sure just yet, so we'll keep an eye out. East Pacific looks very quiet as well. All right, the precipitation outlook valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, 1 inch to 1.5 inches. That's pretty good, and we could see even more than that just to the north of us. Northern Maricopa, parts of Gila, Yavapai, Mojave County, we could see some amounts 2 to 3 inches. And keeping in mind that if you're above about the 7,000, 7,500 foot level, there's going to be some snow before all is said and done as well. So Flagstaff could certainly get at least a few flakes out of this next system coming in. I would say the bulk of the precipitation will come in the form of rain there, but just above that, 8,000, 9,000 feet, there'll be lots of snow. All right, what's going on with this weather pattern in more detail? Well, we'll try to figure it out to the best of our ability as we get to the models right now, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet up. Kind of a similar pattern than we've had for a while. Big trough across eastern North America. There's another low descending down the west coast. What it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Partly sunny, high temperatures, upper 60s, low 70s. That's just slightly below seasonal averages. And again, isolated showers are possible across central and northern Arizona. Certainly wouldn't count on it. Wouldn't cancel any activities you have over that part of the state, but just keep in mind there might be a raindrop or two for the rest of the day today. All right, now as we get into tonight, we'll see a further increase in clouds, and some precipitation will start to come in here by later this evening. Let me show you. This is the HRRR tonight, 7 p.m. Here in Phoenix, the simulated radar product from our high-resolution rapid refresh model. And again, it shows a few showers coming into south central Arizona, including the Phoenix area about that time. Now, I would suggest that any rain we see this evening would be pretty light if we see much of anything at all. But just know that if you are out and about through the mid-evening hours, early mid-evening hours, yes, you might see a few raindrops out there. I think it will generally hold off until later tonight, but a few showers are possible this evening. Overnight lows tonight generally in the 50s to about 60. All right, let's go to Tuesday. All right, here comes system number 2. This thing is descending down the California coast. It is a colder, more potent system, as we mentioned. And yeah, moisture will be on the increase tomorrow. So we'll see showers increasing, some isolated thunderstorms, some higher elevation snow. Now, this is not a setup really where it's going to just rain nonstop all day. There'll be showers, which means they'll be kind of hit and miss. I would say they'll be more on than off, more hit than miss, but rainfall distribution won't be perfectly even with this. It's not a perfectly stratiform rain event. Still, though, you'll be dodging some raindrops through the day tomorrow. We've got the rain chance up at 70%, so most spots should get wet. And again, some thunder possible. We don't anticipate severe weather, but again, if you get under one of those thunderstorms, those convectively driven showers, you could certainly see some locally heavy downpours. For the most part, rain will be light to moderate. High temperatures, a bit lower. We should stay in the 60s for the most part tomorrow, maybe near 70, depending on when the rain really starts to come in earnest. Tomorrow night's the same thing. Showers likely, chance of thunderstorms, higher elevation snow. The snow level will be gradually creeping down to about the 7,000 foot level, so Flagstaff should at least pick up a few flakes. I would say the bulk of the precipitation from this next storm system in Flagstaff will be rain, but some snow is absolutely possible. All right, here's Wednesday, and this system, again, it's moving pretty slowly, so we'll have showers likely through most of the day on Wednesday, and there could be some isolated thunder as well. A locally heavy downpour can't be ruled out. For the most part, rain that falls would be light to moderate, though. And again, higher elevation snow, high temperatures here in Phoenix, somewhere between about 60 to 64. Maybe even some of the outlying areas might stay in the upper 50s, depending on how the day goes here. But it's going to be a very cool day. That's for sure. The coolest day we've had in quite some time. All right, that system will begin to move out by Wednesday night. Here's Thursday, partly sunny. I guess there could be an isolated shower around. We're between systems here, but can't completely rule it out on Thursday. High temperatures will stay in about the mid-60s here. This is Friday, and this is where forecast uncertainty comes in a little bit. The next system is shown to drop down the California coast and close off into an upper low. But how fast that system ultimately moves through the southwest is unclear at this time. We've penciled in a chance of rain on Friday. I've kind of trimmed back the chances of rain, though, because I think the system may wind up holding off a little longer. High temperatures, again, somewhere in the mid-60s to near 70 for the warmest desert spots. Here's Saturday. The GFS has the rain kind of beginning to move into Southern California, Western Arizona through the day on Saturday. That might be the right call ultimately. We'll just have to wait for this system to get out of here before we can get a better idea on timing from this next system. But if we take this at face value, part of the day Saturday may turn out to be relatively dry, and then we'll start to see some chances of rain coming in by later on Saturday and Saturday night. And then the day on Sunday, showers would be more likely in here, and high temperatures would be cooler than what we've been forecasting. I would suggest highs would probably stay in the 60s again for the day on Sunday. Now, this is the GFS. Some of the models are a little faster, but there is a trend to kind of slow down this next system. And based on how things have been going with our forecasting, I think the idea of a slower progression with these systems, given the amplitude of the pattern and all of that, that looks like a fairly safe call. So we'll have rain chances conceivably. There's rain chances almost every day of this forecast period through Sunday. That doesn't mean it's going to rain every day, but there are at least some low-end rain chances every day. All All right, let's keep going. This is a week from today, Monday the 24th. That system moves out of here, and we'd start to dry out if that's right. And high temperatures would rebound a little bit back toward around 70 or so. This is Tuesday the 25th. The GFS is a very weak little wave coming through. That might produce some clouds, but nothing else. End of the forecast period, Wednesday the 26th, the busiest travel day of the year, Thanksgiving Eve. The GFS has a flat ridge building in, so temperatures would continue to warm up. We'd probably be in at least the mid, maybe upper 70s, if that's correct, with upper heights climbing back toward about 582 decameters. But just for funsies, let's take a look at the European model here. Same time, Wednesday the 26th, it's got a trough coming on in, and so cooler conditions would be around. That's not necessarily a big-time rain look for us, but it would produce maybe a few showers. But again, there's a lot of forecast uncertainty. The European AI, which I didn't have the graphic here, but it shows a big ridge out here across the west as well. So at this point, next week is probably looking a little bit more dry, but we'll keep an eye on those model trends. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 1st of December. Hard to believe we're even talking about December already. This year has just flown by. But the ensemble mean here is just under 2 inches. Wow. European, about the same thing, a little over 1.5 inches, close to 2 inches on the European AI as well as the ensemble mean. And there are certainly some members that show even more than that. So we could see some pretty decent rain over the next couple of days, and maybe out there, sometime later next week or the following weekend, depending on what model you ascribe to here. But there is plenty of forecast uncertainty as we go into next week. I do suspect late next week, the following weekend, as we move toward the very end of November, the 1st of December, another pattern change is likely to come, and we're going to see more of we're going to see the pattern de-amplify for a while here this week, this weekend, especially as we go into the first part of next week, and then it should start to amplify once again. And that could open the door for some colder Arctic air to descend southward. Where that goes, it's hard to say, but right now the bet is probably the central and eastern part of the country, and we'd have a warmer start to December. But that's just one idea on the table right now. Let's take a look at temperatures off the national blend of models. Down is the trend. You better believe it. Highs 60s and staying below average really through most of this forecast period, although keeping in mind that average high temperatures are also going down, so we might be closer to average as we get out there toward next week. Of course, Thanksgiving is looking pretty nice if this is correct. Highs low to mid 70s on Thanksgiving. You can't really beat that. All right, and finally, the CPC outlook. This is for the 8 to 14 day period. If this is correct, the rest of November out here through next week and that following weekend looks fantastic. Below average temperatures are the favored outcome here across most of the West, including Arizona. And we're still tilted at least slightly toward above average precipitation for most of Arizona, the extreme southern southwestern portion of the state near average. So again, that's pretty good news as well. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Health pending. I got a little bit of a sore throat, and I don't know if you could tell, but I'm trying to get through it here. A little bit of a labor to get through the video today, but we will see. Anyway, ideally, we'll be back here tomorrow morning, okay? If you enjoy these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, share. Sharing's a big part of this whole thing. Sharing is caring. Share these videos. Click that notification bell so that whenever we post a brand new video, you'll get those notifications. Also, your comments, questions, and suggestions. Love all of those. Read all of them. Someone suggested that we include Wickenburg in our coverage here, and we put Wickenburg down in our Chiron. This thing that we show right here, the little dashboard, the Chiron, we put Wickenburg in that. So I hope you guys appreciate all that. We do listen to your suggestions here, and we try to implement as many of them as is possible. All right, if you do appreciate that hard work, you really like what we do here, you want to support the channel, well, the best way to do that is A, click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, make a contribution to us that way, or B, via our PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's GROFF show@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo, I guess, that's also linked up down in the description. So feel free to support us through any means possible. And of course, it is always so greatly appreciated. I never take it for granted. You guys really do step up and support this channel, and I do appreciate it greatly. And you know who else appreciates it? And that's the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona Weather Discussion, my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, Kylie related, Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description below. Our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun with that. Again, linked up. And check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, courtroomfiles.com for all your Courtroom Files merch. Dan runs a great channel. I encourage you to watch it just based on that merit alone, but he's a friend of mine. Listen, he helped us out with a water heater this weekend. So Dan and my buddy Johnny, my longtime friend from high school, Johnny, they both helped out, stepped it up big time. And again, the little things really matter. And that's more than a little thing. Trust me on that. So since Dan supports us, you support him. YouTube is weird right now. I don't want to get on a whole tangent about this. My voice is not so great right now, but I will just say YouTube is being very strange right now. So any support you can give to your favorite content creators by sharing their videos, watching their content, liking, and just doing all the engagement stuff with it, that would really, really help out. Not just me, but all those other content creators that you may enjoy out there. As YouTube is, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it's been messing around with stuff. It's what they do, I guess. We saw a similar thing with Twitch a couple of months ago. They tried to get rid of all those bots, but it kind of started messing with other content creators as well. Anyway, all of that kind of technical stuff aside, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, it is so greatly appreciated. Please, please be safe. And you guys have yourselves you notice I don't have to say stay cool, stay hydrated anymore. I mean, I still want you to do that, but you really don't have to. 70 degrees. I mean, I'm going to go drink plenty of tea, not necessarily water. I get some tea going, some honey, maybe some electrolytes. I don't know. Anyway, have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Monday.